What's that? What's gone? The rum's gone. Why is it with you the rum is always gone? Anyway, I don't care, because I'm alright, Jack. I've still got plenty of whiskey. Yeah, the hold's full of it. I look after it, you see. Hey, folks, how are you all? I'm just going to blow the barnacles off me innards. Top of the morning to you. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Now this little seafaring, salty, briny video is all about a couple of things which, well, I hadn't forgotten I had them, but I just thought, I haven't seen them for a while. Let's dig them out and have a little look. And I'm going to show you them now. We've all seen Jack Sparrow, we've all seen Errol Flynn, we've all seen these swashbuckling guys, we've seen black sails, the music of which is playing now, and pirates. We loves them, don't we? Yeah, with their cutlasses. A cutlass, yes. It's not just something made for the movies, they genuinely used cutlasses. Why? Because they were small, they were short, they were sharp on one side, and a nice curved blade, rather similar to this. Yes, here's a very old cutlass. Yeah. And cutlass is derived from the French coutelas, I think it is, and coutelas meaning, I think, a short sword. Someone will correct me on this, but my etymology is a bit rusty these days. Almost as rusty as that blade. Look at that, look at that. That's age, that's patina. That is Spanish blood wearing its way into the metal. But yeah, it's derived from an Italian and then earlier Greek word, and the Latin, whatever that was, it comes to mean cutlass. Small sword, small knife. In the Caribbean, a cutlass is actually the name for a machete, and that is very important. The machete was used for hacking and chopping down the sugarcane and the plantations. And the whole point of a cutlass on board a ship in the age of sail was to hack and slash and cut and chop. You were forever cutting rope, you were cutting wood, and in times of skirmishing, of times of battle, ship to ship combat, obviously there was no room to be swinging around a massive broadsword, a long sword, a bastard sword, a hand and a half sword, whatever you want to call them. And a big long sword, a double-edged sword, was going to be absolute chaos and trouble. You wanted something small, something you could tuck away, whip it out, hack, slash, in a nice small environment. If you're up the rigging, you don't want to be getting your sword caught in the ropes and you'd be hanging yourself, you'd be cutting your own Achilles heel. So no, something small. So they are the machete type device coupled with the sabre, and they are a great bit of kit. This one is actually quite short, even for a cutlass, because in movies and in literature and artistic depictions, they've always got, it's almost like a bloody scimitar. It's a huge curved, weapon, goes down to here, and they can do lots of, if you Jack Sparrow or Errol Flynn, again, prime examples, they're forever fencing with them, parrying. You can't. Well, you can, but you don't. With these, they're not built for that at all. They are not built for that. Look at this one. This example here is a real beauty, to be honest. It is a small sort of sword, even for, because I've got another one to show you which is longer than this. This one's 22 inches long. Actually, it's not. I think it's more like 21 inches long from there to there. The actual shape is fine. The groove is fantastic. The weight distribution is awesome, but it's very, very crudely done. There is no decoration, nothing ornate about this. Even the crossguard is slightly off centre, but the blade itself and the handle are perfectly aligned. and it's a full tang. And you guys know what a tang is because I've said it, and I've reviewed weapons and stuff before, albeit a long time ago, and I've gone into in depth about like what the tang should be. Basically, the full tang means that from there, all the way down to there is one thing, one piece of steel, one piece of bronze, one piece of iron, whatever metal you've used. It's one thing. And then what's happened is they've put the crossguard on and they've wrapped the handle around it and the handguard. They're extra, they fit around, which would be, this just goes narrower, but should run down to the end here, there. And then what you've got, my friends, is a pretty, well, I say unbreakable, it pretty much is unbreakable, because you've got that weight distribution and you've got all of the measurement there, which keeps the balance perfectly aligned, and the strength. If that blade just stopped there, as a lot of replicas do and a lot of crappy knives do, and there's nothing, even maybe a rat tail or a little tiny little tang that comes about there just to fit in, you know, any impact, you know, the blade could come bouncing off, the handle goes to the heavens, that's it, and you're left, ooh, completely defenseless, useless. But with something like this, that blade is going nowhere except into sugar cane, a rope, a bit of wood, a tree, a coconut, or your enemy's gizzards, straight in, slash. You know, there's a lot you can do with it, but it is sort of, it's built for downward slashing motion. So you go wham, down on someone's head, down someone's shoulder, this lovely curve and nice point, straight into someone, and straight back out again, and then slash them and hack them when they're down. The whole principle of a machete. A sabre is a much more refined, more elegant weapon, very often a lot longer than this, and will have a lot more range, and you can fence with that because of the length of it. The sabre's a lot more designed for kind of dexterous work and to move around and to parry, to block, to move, to slice, to hack, uppercut, downwards, and finite movement to twist around the opponent's blade, disarm them, and then take them down, you know. But this is, it's an ugly weapon, and yet it's still gorgeous at the same time. Ugly, yet gorgeous. Inelegant, yet beautifully bloodthirsty. As you can see here, this is extremely pitted and rusty, but it doesn't matter. That blade, it's blunt-ish, but I wouldn't want to drag it across any tender parts of my body. No. I wouldn't want to do that. That is, if you thrust that at somebody, say a sack of grain, a sack of barley, that's going to go straight through, no problem whatsoever. So a person, with enough force behind it, you're going to hoik them off the ground, a bit like Michael Myers in Halloween 2, when he gets the scalpel in the nurse's back and manages to lift her off the deck. But see, I can bring Michael Myers into anything. But as you can see here, this has been crudely put together, not with any kind of artistic design in mind. It just wants to be practical. Look at that handle. I don't know what kind of wood that is. I do not know. It actually does smell quite a bit. Some wood does, some wood doesn't. But this is very old wood as well, so it kind of strange smell, a bit of a burny sort of smell to it. Anyway, but as you can see, if you look at that there, that's been carved very quickly, but very crudely, but also very well into a hand grip. Look at that. And it fits beautifully into your hand. That is a great little weapon, a great sword. That's not going to take up much room. Hook down your belt. You know, that's there. You could be doing your stuff, playing cards, drinking rum, doing whatever, catching sharks, I don't know. What you do at sea when you're not battling and attacking other ships and, you know, I don't know, hoisting the mainsail and all that kind of stuff. What are you doing? I don't know. But your sword won't get in the way. It's as simple as that. So that is a great little bit of kit. As you can see, I don't know if you can see there, we do have some tapering and some shaping to the blade. Look at that. So we do have what was once a very nice blade. Very beautifully forged, but it's just gone through centuries of time and some salty air, and probably someone's very rum-laden blood as well. Now, who knows? Who knows? Actual fighting with pirates was, the movies make out that it happened all the time and they were right bloodthirsty bastards. Well, some of them were. You know, it's all, everything you see is based on something that did happen. But a lot of myths and legends have took over and embroidered these tales. But actual fighting with them wasn't that major. It wasn't a huge daily occurrence. So that's why a lot of these exploits of certain pirates have become legendary, because, well, it wasn't 10 a penny, you know? But again, a little tour of this. Beautifully, well, not beautifully, but crudely, but very effectively carved hand grip, which has obviously become moulded to someone's hand over time and usage. Very good, very good. Not much in the way of a pommel at the end there. The pommel is a bit of a counterbalance. It also seals the whole thing together. This whole elaborate construction which goes around the handle, the hilt. Some people would say, you know, on some swords which I've shown you in the past, it could be used as a weapon. Some are very ornate. Some have a spike on as well, so you could, you know, penetrate somebody's skull with it. So they got the reputation as being as a bit of a skull cracker. That's not entirely true. It is to keep this all balanced and keep the weight distributed and keep it all anchored in. But it could be used that way, of course, and they knew this at the time. But yeah, so a great, very versatile weapon. You know, you can cut your coconuts down and also go and take off your opponent's head. Just round about there. Do it like a Gurkha's cookery with a like that. Up it goes, and off it goes. Job done. And that would do it, actually. So, that's that one. Well, you know, we're not going to stop there, because I have a couplet of cutlasses. And this one's far more ornate, and it's a bit longer. This is a 2-foot blade. And it is equally rusted to hell and back. This has been, well, I think I found this in, there was a big locker deep down underwater in the Caribbean, and there was a name on the locker. What did it say? What was the name? It should be on it. Belonged to a certain David Jones. That was his locker. Davy Jones's locker, folks. Yeah, now you can see again, now that is the same thing, exactly the same thing, but just more elaborate, yeah? So, a 2-foot long blade, that's possibly, in fact probably more the length that they would be, really. That's still quite short. That's still not a long sword, a broadsword, you know? It's still nicely tucked away. It's not going to clip the back of your, you know, your calf muscle and slice you open. It's not going to drag along the deck as you're walking, you know, with your peg leg and your parrot on your shoulder and all that shite. But this is, and you've got a far wider blade as well. And again, you can see the machete template is there. That's what a machete is. One side completely blunt, the weight is forcing it downwards. So that is, now you can hear that rattling round. This is a much older and far more used blade. This needs some work doing here, because what's happening here, again, it's a full tang, and you can see, if I actually try to pull that out now, you would see where the blade there suddenly stops and drops down maybe about that much and becomes a shank. Well, it's just the same piece of steel, but it's the way it's been forged and carved. It then forms a thinner wedge that comes all the way down to here. So it is a full tang, but what's happened is this hilt crossguard has become slightly loosened. Now that can be fixed. And I don't mean with blue tack and gaffer tape. I know, I am the guy that fixed an entire conservatory roof with blue tack and gaffer tape. But no, that can be fixed. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but it can be done. I can do it, but it's whether I'm going to or not. But you've got a far wider blade. You've got quite a wicked point on that. That's blunt, but if you sharpen that, that's going to be quite nasty. That is completely blunt. So you could drag that along some of your precious doodads, and it might leave a bit of a white mark, but you'd be all right. You ain't gonna lose any appendages, none of your favourite bits and bobs. I don't recommend doing that, by the way, as any kind of experiment. Just test, the sharpness of the blade. Don't risk it for a biscuit, But this is also very, very pitted and eroded and rusted. And yet, that only really adds, I think, to the glory of some of these much, much older and well-used blades. But, folks, the thing about this is, look at this hilt. Look at that. Fabulously ornate, decorative. Sort of, I'm not sure if I'm not going to say that's a gold filigree, because it isn't. It's some kind of bronzy lacquer. I don't know. I don't think clearly these are all highlights, and the bits in between would have been darker. But that, folks, what's that? It's a griffin. That's what it is. It's a griffin. Look at his face. Look at his little griffin-y type face. Not Peter Griffin. No. But just a griffin. Not to do with Gryffindor, but that is a griffin. But look on the other side of this. Look at this fabulous, beautiful handguard here. What is that? It's a bloody serpent. Look at that. And you've got a griffin and a serpent meeting together. A snake. A rattlesnake, isn't that? I don't know. But again, fabulously carved and decorative. All his scales and spinal column. Do snakes have spines? If they do, they have very bendy spines. I don't know. I haven't eaten one for a while. But you've got all, his decorative, snaky type skin. And isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? Now, there are British naval officers, swords, sabres, well, they'd be called naval swords. And they would not be like that. They would not be the Cutlass style. They would be the much longer sabre style. A far straighter top edge and a much longer, but equally, just as massively brutal, sharp lower edge. And they would have, because I've seen plenty of them, very ornate sort of hilts and guards. Some would have basket guards on them as well, and some would have far more elaborate and more effective cross guards. Again, that's not a very effective cross guard. But the beautiful thing is that your hand, whilst wielding this, is protected. That protects your hand. What you're not getting much of is from this bit here, because you really want, if you're actually going to go fighting someone else with a sword, you want to have something up there to completely enclose your hand. So when you're fighting and their blade bounces down the top of your sword, it can just go whoosh and slice off the top of your hand, rendering your fighting hand utterly useless. So, and disarming you. So that's why you have cross guards. And the best, of course, is going to be a huge fucking big bloody Thanos style glove, completely encasing your hand. In fact, you want the tang of the sword to run up your arm, right to your shoulder, so it's one completely fixed unit. But yeah. But I do like this. I think that's it does need to be fixed, because I can't, like with that one, it's nice to swing that around and do some drill and some form and patterns, but with this you can't do it. It's not going to come flying off, but it's just this. Dinner time! Wait, it does sound like a ship's bell, doesn't it? If you were fighting, they'd all be going, what? Ship to port? Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, you know. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, that, because that would be a lovely one to do some sort of. I could show you some moves with the sword like this. They'd be a lot flashier, a lot better. That's great. You can do a lot with that. But when you look compared to that one, that's like that's the cabin boys cutlass, in it. You know, like, oh yeah, God, bring out Jack the cabin boy as well. Come on, son. Go on. Look, this guy's had his legs and arms chopped off, but he's still breathing. Go on, you finish him off. Go on, there you go. Yeah. You're one of us now, lad. Fucking hell. But that's lovely, because you compare me swinging that one round to this one round. That rattles and the balance goes off, because you can't control it. It's loose, tightened up, properly welded round. That'll be glorious again. But this, in the meantime, is just so much that you can do with it, and all that kind of stuff. But cutlasses aren't built for twirling around. You see it in movies. And of course, it's showboat and stuff. It's built for just that, hack, slash, swipe, thrust, but mainly that. And boof in someone's face as well, which that would be quite effective, that. But yeah, I'd love to know the history behind that. As I say, if you look down there, or maybe if you look that way, perhaps you can see that this guard is totally misaligned. It's far much more on that side than there is on that side, and it's not a fault of. It's not been put in wrong. That blade is one unit. All the way from there to there is one unit. So it's how that's been applied and attached to it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. As I said before, you would want, in reality, you'd need more of a guard around the hand. But these guys were not fencing. So, they weren't going into prolonged dancing with an opponent and parrying and defending and blocking and, doing feints and all that kind of stuff. It was just meant to be straight in there, hack him down. It's either you hack him, he hacks you. Simple as that. Job done. Because you're all carrying these things. Apart from those bastards who had guns. In which case you go, ha ha! And they go, ha ha ha! Boom! Fuck! Ting! Ha ha! Got you now! But they are beauties, aren't they? I think I've shown you a lot of swords, but I've always said that my favourite sword, if I was going to go into any kind of bladed combat, what a ridiculous idea, isn't it? But if it was going to go into combat, it's the Greek Xiphos blade, the leaf-shaped blade. I've shown you them before. Go back. There's videos on them, and that's my favourite shape of sword. Again, short, but double-edged and leaf-shaped, and the balance and the dexterity and the agility. There's so much you can do with it in close quarters. I know, you want a long sword, you want a broad sword, and everyone says this, of course they do. But again, they're very huge and unwieldy. But something like this is just perfect for a bit of ship to ship, close quarter, someone's doorstep. Whoa, ding dong, buccaneer calling. No, job done. Folks, I have been and always shall be Kilt-Man at your forever swashbuckling services. Please keep it kilted. Please keep it Celtic. And if you've got some of this sort of stuff hanging about, well, don't leave it unattended. Because me and my scurvy crew might just sail into port and ransack your hall. Folks, I'm going to see you all. Hit the stop. Oh, forget it. Bloody pirates did have to contend with cantankerous stop buttons, did they?